Alafia, Hotep, Kamusta. Welcome to the Mind of Ro page. I am Faju Junde, Oba Jaguna, Oguna Salamio. Today I'm going to make a video on how to get your passion back after going through trauma. Now, this could either be recent trauma, it could be trauma from childhood that you just haven't overcame and you feel like that maybe your passion is being taken away from you because you haven't healed from trauma from a long time ago. So here are some signs you might have lost your passion. You're not doing things that are fun. You feel like you're ashamed of doing things that are fun. You're basically boring. You don't want to go do anything. Another signs is that you feel sad. Maybe you feel depressed. Maybe you feel hopeless. Maybe you feel like you're not worth anything, or maybe you constantly feel like you're dragging your feet all the time, almost like you're trying to walk through mud or something like that. These are some signs that you lost your passion. You could be tired all the time. You could be bitter all the time, stuff like that. So there's little red flags that you might have lost your passion due to some trauma that you've been through. So my last video I made was how to go from crazy bitch to good woman. So if you like that kind of stuff, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Mind of Ro. I also have a TikTok, an Instagram, and a Twitter at Mind of Ro. And I also have a Facebook business page at The Mind of Ro, where I do readings at. So if you would like to get a reading done, go ahead and shoot me a comment or a message. And I do video chat either over, or I do readings either over video chat, or I could just send you the reading. I prefer to, recently I've been sending readings because I notice when I do video chat, people tend to talk a lot throughout the reading, and it kind of get me sitting, there with the reading way longer than it should be. So I kind of recently been preferring kind of sending the reading to you. So if you would like to get a reading done, sent to you, go ahead and just set an appointment with me and let me know. So basically, what is passion? Passion is desire, it's motivation. It's basically your drive to accomplish your hopes and dreams. When we go through trauma, things happen to us that makes us lose the passion. And a lot of that is due to guilt, shame, because of something that we went through. So I'm going to give you some pointers on how to get your passion back after losing your passion from trauma. Number one is, first of all, you have to express what you want. A lot of times we are not able to follow our passion because we simply don't know what we want, let alone can even express what we want. So you got to really spend some time with yourself and really ask yourself, what do you really want for yourself? These are some things I noticed with myself. If I catch myself kind of daydreaming about certain things, and obviously that's what I want for myself. If I keep daydreaming about myself being in Hawaii, for example, then obviously that's where I want to be. If I keep daydreaming about opening a business, and clearly that's what I deeply really want to have. So these are ways you could really figure out what you really want for yourself. So a lot of times we always beat ourselves up and we're like, oh, why am I not passionate? Why am I not doing this? And why am I not doing that? What am I supposed to do? The first step is basically being able to spend some time with yourself and sit with yourself, alone with yourself, and not using other people as a distraction from yourself, to be able to really sit and ask yourself, what do you really want for yourself? What is passion to you, honestly? What makes you happy? What do you really want? Not what does society think you should have, not what does your family tell you should have. What do you honestly really want? So the first step is really to be able to not only know that, but to express it and say it out loud and say, this is what I want for myself. This is what I want. You can either say it out loud or even write it down. A lot of people do vision boards. Vision boards work good, where you look through a magazine, you basically cut out images of things you want to have and do. Like maybe you see like a couple sitting on the beach, so you would cut out a picture of that and put on a vision board. Maybe there's a car that you want, you would cut that picture out of a magazine and put on a vision board, so you see it every single day. Another thing works too is writing affirmations down and putting them on the mirror where you get ready for work every single day and saying, I have this, I will have this, or I do have this, or examples like stuff like that. That really works too. And actually being able to actively express that, if now you know what you want to do, you have to actually tell yourself to do it. If you really like to do art, then do it, then paint. If you really like to do poetry, then then write poetry. If you really like to go out and do things, then go out and do things. Number 2 is get support. It's really hard for you to go do a lot of fun things if you're hanging out with a lot of negative people that don't think you should be doing things that you really love to do, or being around boring people. Like, for example, I have a history in the past where I've had to stop associating with people because all they wanted to do is drink, for example. And I said, well, I want to drink. I'd rather go do things like go hike, for example, and stuff like that. So the best support group for me would be obviously hanging out with people who like to do the same thing, or at least getting away from people who want to shame you or pull you away from the things that you really want to do. So number 2 is getting support. Number 2 is saying, hey, this is what I want to do. Can you either push me to do it, or do you want to be there when I do it? Or finding people who want to be there with you, who have the same mindset as you. Birds of a feather flock together. So if you really want something that's going to make you happy and you want to do things that make you happy, you got to surround yourself with people who have the same mindset as you, people who do the same things that you like to do that makes you happy, and getting away from people who want to pull you away from that. Next one, number 3, is you really got to learn to find things that actually makes you feel positive and not do things that make you feel negative. For example, if you're listening to a lot of angry rap music all the time or angry rock music all the time, and you're listening to a lot of negative lyrics all the time, it's going to make you constantly feel like a negative person. If you're listening to a lot of Adele, for example, and it's really depressing music every single day, you're going to be depressed, you know? So you got to really do things that you know makes you feel good. Listen to happy, upbeat music. Hang out with upbeat people, watch comedies. When we go, this is what I like to do when I'm feeling like I'm really stressed and I have a lot of stuff on my mind, I'm tired of thinking about a lot of negative things, I'll go home and I'll watch a comedy because I just want to laugh. I just want to listen to something that's going to really kind of take me away out of that negative vibe, and it's going to be humorous and make me think about something that's just funny and stupid, you know? Sometimes you just got to do that stuff and just surround yourself with something that just makes you feel positive just for a while, so you're not moping around and feeling sorry for yourself and being stuck in that trauma that keeps replaying in your mind over and over and over again. Which goes to number 4, is getting back on a routine. A lot of times when we go through things and we get really stressed out, for example, a loved one died, maybe you went through a breakup, maybe you got into a fight, maybe you lost a business or a home, you tend to forget what your routine is because you get distracted and you kind of want to just mope around and feel sorry for yourself. I get it. I've been there. I know how it feels. So if you feel like you just been doing that because you feel like you just went through something and you just can't get your mind right, sometimes if one of the first steps to get out of that is to ask yourself, okay, what was I doing before I went through this trauma? What was I doing before I got abused by this person? What was I doing before I lost this job, or whatever it is, or before I lost this person? You know, what was I doing before that I have stopped doing, that I'm not doing now, that I was doing before, that I need to get back on? It could be either making smoothies every morning that you used to do. It could be either walking around the neighborhood that you used to do. It could be either meditating on a regular basis. A lot of times when we go through trauma, we get so caught up in our feelings and our emotions and our pain that we fall off our routine, and we start to get on another routine that consists of dragging our feet, feeling sad, being caught up in that. I like to call it the monkey chatter in our mind, where everything keeps replaying over and over and over and over again. And then we get stuck in that routine of always doing that. And then we wonder, dang, where did my passion go? So sometimes you just got to go back and get back on the routine. You really ask yourself, what were you doing before the trauma happened that you're not doing now? And go back and think about that. What was making you happy before you went through the trauma? When the trauma took it from you, think about that and be like, okay, I used to do this, but I don't do that anymore. Maybe I should start doing that again. And then start doing it again and see how happy it makes you, see how it kind of bounces you back to the place you were before the trauma happened. Next one, number 5, is you got to give yourself a break. I just made this video recently based on how to nourish yourself. So a lot of times when we go through trauma, we are really hard on ourselves. We blame ourselves and say, I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that, or maybe I could have done this instead, or maybe if I did this, this would have happened, or maybe if I didn't do that, then this would have happened. And then we replay this replay in our mind over and over and over and over again. And then we start beating ourselves up, and then we start telling ourselves subconsciously that we don't deserve to have fun, or we don't deserve to be nourished, or we don't deserve happiness, or whatever it is, because we're constantly stuck replaying that shame and guilt in our mind over and over and over again. Like, well, what kind of person am I to attract this type of person in my life? Why would I do that for? And then this happened. I know I used to be in an abusive relationship, and I did that for a while. When I got out of an abusive relationship, I would have beat myself up and say, well, how stupid am I to put myself in that situation? How stupid am I to allow this person, you know, and then we lose our passion, and then we beat ourselves up, and then we feel bad constantly. And then we need to learn to nourish ourselves. We need to understand we make mistakes. Sometimes we love people we shouldn't have loved. Sometimes we do things because we just simply weren't paying attention, you know. Sometimes we make mistakes in life, and we're human. I'm not saying that it's okay to keep making mistakes on purpose because you just don't care, but I am saying we make mistakes sometimes, and we got to give ourselves a break and say, hey, okay, when do I actually get to forgive myself? When do I get that chance to do that? You know, we gotta ask ourselves that. So please go check out my other video I made on how to nourish yourself, because that'll really help you if you feel like you lost your passion after trauma. Nourishing yourself is going to be a great key on getting you back into the move of things, getting you back into self-love, into self-acceptance, and instead of the woe is me and the I hate myself and I hate my life thing, we got to get out of that. So please check that video out. I made it a couple weeks ago on my page. Go look for it. Take a look at it. Let me know how you feel. Next one is you got to get outside. So a lot of time when we go through a lot of trauma, we get really depressed and we don't want to do anything. And all we want to do is just lay inside and mope around and feel sorry for ourselves, drink, smoke, cry, complain, watch depressing TV, listen to depressing music, talk on the phone with your friends about the bunch of drama and this fool did that and this, I can't believe this. And we get caught up in that. And all we do is we keep repeating over and over and over again. When we get off, we go home and we do it over and over again. So the next one is you just got to get outside. Sometimes I'm not saying you have to go to explore the world right away, but if you're just coming out of a trauma, because sometimes that could feel like too overwhelming for someone who just came out of trauma, especially if they lost somebody very close to them. This kind of happens. Sometimes you just have to walk outside. Sometimes you just need to really open your windows. It really helps, because a lot of times when we're depressed, we carry that energy in our home, and then we're sitting in it, and we're constantly recycling the energy of depression and self-doubt and all that kind of stuff over and over and over again. We're literally breathing that energy in and breathing it out and back in again. And to be able to get out of that, sometimes you really got to open your windows. I like to open windows a lot because it gets the energy moving. And get outside. Sometimes you just need to walk around. Sometimes you just need to go out and go eat at a restaurant, do something, anything other than the same thing that you're doing, which is getting off of work and coming home, feel sorry for yourself and grabbing a bottle to drink and getting drunk, passing out and doing the same thing over again, you know? Get outside, go do something. Just go to the beach, go to the forest, whatever you got to do. There's nothing like Mother Nature that heals us, especially the ocean and the forest. There's nothing like the frequency of Mother Earth that is going to heal you so much more than sitting in your house feeling sorry for yourself. So that step is you just got to go outside. It can be simple. It can be a simple walk outside, but you got to push yourself. You got to do it. Number 7 is chanting really helps. I'm going to give you guys some chants that actually really helps with your sacral chakra, which is your emotions, and your solar plexus, which is your willpower. So when we lose our passion, it's because our solar plexus and our sacral gets really out of whack and imbalanced and blocked. So I'm going to give you guys some chants and so you can actually vibrate at a more balanced vibe. So your sacral chakra which is your emotional and creative center, and your willpower center can actually be unblocked and more open and flow more, instead of like closed in and blocked off and feel like kind of like there's a shadow on you and stuff. So the first one is VAM. It's spelled VAM, and it's your emotional center and your creative your creation center. So a lot of time we lose our passion, we lose our ability to be able to create things, which is be able to create our life and our needs and wants and desires into existence. So Vam, you basically say Vam 108 times. What you do is you're going to get you a mala necklace. Look it up online, a mala necklace, or some people might call it a mantra necklace. And it has 108 beads, and you're going to say Vam 108 times, and it's going to help you balance your emotions. It's going to help you have a little more emotional intelligence, emotional independence, and more creative energy. And then when you're done doing that, you're going to chant Ram. It's spelled R-A-M. It sounds like Ram. That is your power center. It's your solar plex power center, which is your will power. So to get your passion back, you got to get your willpower back. So you're going to do the same thing with Ram. You're going to chant 108 times with a mala necklace, which has, they all have 108, well, majority of them have 108 beads on them. And do this on a continuous basis. It's almost like a cheat sheet. It really is. What it does is changes the frequency and energy around you, because especially if you're depressed and sad, you're sitting in that frequency. So to be able to change the frequency within your auric field, chants actually help change it. So if you're feeling like, oh my God, I can't get up, I can't do this is too hard for me, I can't do it, chant this. It's to be a lot easier. It's almost like a cheat. It's pretty much like a cheat code, basically, is what it is. It's like when a video game, when you get a cheat code, you put the code in, you could all of a sudden like jump levels and stuff like that. That's what chants do for you. So go ahead and do those chants, Vam and Ram. And if you do that, let me know how they make you feel. Let me know how energetic they make you feel. I'm gonna let you know right now, if you do Ram and you have to go to sleep that night, you probably don't want to do Ram at night because it will make you feel energized. Ram is more like a really good morning time kind of chant, unless you want to stay up at night. So I'm just warning you now, if you do the Ram one, don't do it late at night, because you're not going to be able to sleep that well, because you're going to be kind of like, I'm going to do something. Okay, just letting you know right now, when you do Ram, you might want to do it in the morning or in the middle of the day when you know you're not about to go to bed. So my next one, number 8, is you got to get in a spiritual pattern, like healing and doing something and being really in touch with your soul. Because if we disconnect from our soul, we're basically asking our soul to leave this realm. And that's when a lot of sickness and early death and issues and problems and stuff like that happen in our life, because we're disconnecting ourselves from our soul. Because that's basically you telling your soul you don't want to be here. So the best way to get in touch with your soul, of course, is spiritual work. Take some healing baths. I have a video on my page where I think I put about 7 to 8 or 9 cleansing baths on one of my videos. Please look for that video. I put cleansing bath recipes. I have multiple recipes on the video that I made. One is for feeling stable and secure about yourself. One is for emotional healing. One is for willpower. One is for if you have a broken heart. One is for how to help you speak your truth. I have all kinds of baths and cleansing baths that actually does the same thing that a chant does. It basically cleans your aura and your energy field. So like I said before, it's like a cheat sheet. You know, if you can't feel like it's just too hard for you to get up and do some of these things, you could do little things that's going to basically change your auric field, which is taking cleansing baths, doing chanting, and finding yourself a practice. Prayer, never underestimate the power of prayer. Never underestimate the power of meditation. I practice African traditional religions where we do a lot of rituals with deities. So if you would like to work with deities, go ahead and look at my page. I have all kinds of things that you could do and summon and speak to and work with that'll help your healing process. If you have any questions, you could always just shoot me a message and let me know, and I'll let you know which deity to speak to for which purpose and why, to heal which aspect of yourself. I will let you know if you need help with that, or just check out my page and you can find that information on my page. And get on a meditation routine or a prayer routine. You know, pray every day. Meditate. Put meditation on your schedule on a regular basis. You know, I don't meditate every single day because I do hair and I get pretty busy doing a lot of hair. But I do make sure I at least meditate twice a week. I make sure I put it on my schedule. I make sure that I do my yoga once a week. I do Tai Chi once a week. I work out once a week. I'm making sure I do these things because we need that. We need to nourish ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves. And we're not going to be able to get any of our passion back if we're not being passionate about ourselves and about our body and how we treat our body and how we treat our own mind. So you got to find yourself a routine. Find something that you can connect with that's going to help you connect with your body, connect with your spirit, connect with your soul. Find a religion, find a spiritual practice, or find multiple. I follow multiple religions. So you got to find your way. If you're not sure which way to go, then do some reading. Nobody said you have to choose one. I mean, I don't. do your thing, you know? Do some reading and research. Find out what feels good to you. How do you find out what source that you feel connects with your soul the most? It's up to you. It's not up to your family. It's not up to your friends. It's up to you. This is your life. This is your journey. This is your purpose. Find yourself. This is when the soul journey begins, is when you really ask yourself, okay, what do I want? What do I want to connect with? Who do I want to talk to? What do I want to believe? You know, the universe is so big. You know, what do I really want to believe? That's just when we start connecting with spirit. You got to find yourself in the universe. Figure out who you are, what you are, why you're here, and stuff like that. That's when you really find your passion. When you get that aha moment and you're like, oh my God, I know why I'm here. It's so exciting. It feels good. I go through those aha moments all the time, and sometimes I bounce back to like, oh my God, why am I here? You know, and then when that happens to me, I lose my passion. And when I do find my reason why I'm here, I get passionate again. I'm like, oh my God, I know why I'm here. It feels good. It feels great to get to that point. And when you get to that point, nobody can stop you. You know, nobody in this world could ever stop you and take you from that. So it's good to find yourself, find your spiritual path, find your spiritual purpose. Why are you here? Why did your soul come here? There's a reason why. When we feel like, I don't know why I'm here, I don't want to be here, that's when you lose your passion. That's when you get into the woe is me, I just want to leave this realm, and then you get depression and you get sick and you have relationship problems and you have all kinds of weird stuff happen to you and losses and stuff like that when you're going against what you came here to do because you're resisting it. So this is a red flag that if you feel like you lost a lot of passion and you feel like you're depressed and sad all the time, that's a red flag you're going against your purpose. And it's a red flag that you're going with your purpose when you start to feel good and you start to feel excited and you start to feel happy and stuff like that. That's when you know your soul is saying, hey, you're going the right direction. You're going exactly where you're supposed to be going. Keep doing you, boo. That's where you're supposed to be going. So just pay attention to that. When you start to feel kind of, that means you're going the wrong direction. When you start feeling, then you're going the right direction. We like to call it a sogbo and irai. Irai basically is this face. A sogbo is this face. Okay? That's what it means. Next one is, number 9 is wear light colors. So if you're wearing a lot of gloomy colors like gray and brown and black, you're going to feel gloomy like the colors feel gloomy. Okay? So wear bright colors like orange, yellow, pink, white, stuff like that. White, I'm always wearing white in my videos because I'm Omo Batala. So wear brighter colors, because bright colors is going to make you feel bright. If you're always wearing dark colors all the time, you're going to feel like you're dark all the time, you know? So go ahead and brighten it up a little bit. Buy some bright colored bed sheets. Buy some bright colored lipstick, ladies. You know, bright colored shirts, bright colored shoes, guys, ladies. I mean, get bright with it. It's going to make you feel good. It's going to make you feel uplifted. And you're not going to feel like all the time, because the colors have frequency. I did make a video not too long ago on how colors are associated with your emotions. So please go check that video out so you can see how colors affect your emotions. And so you know what you're actually doing to yourself when you put your outfits on every single day. So my next one is, number 10 is, if you're at that point, sometimes you really just have to force yourself. I have been in those places where, I mean, I've lost my mom in 2008. And was devastating for me. So I know how it feels to be very depressed. I've lost my doggy before. Oh my gosh, she was like the best dog in the world. I love Mogwai. Everybody knew Mogwai. But I've been in places where, of course I've been through breakups in my life. You know, I know how it feels sometimes when you go through these things, especially when someone close to you passes away, that you just feel like you can't do anything. Like you feel like you can't even get up off the couch, and you can't stop sucking on that bottle. You can't stop smoking that blunt. you know? You feel like you can't stop, you know? And sometimes you really have to literally in your head, this is what I have done, and say, okay, I'm going to force myself to get up off this couch. I'm going to force myself to go do something. I'm going to force myself to stop doing this. And I told myself to this, you have to consciously make the decision to choose happiness. You have to consciously in your mind say, I choose happiness. If you keep telling yourself that, if you keep identifying with your pain and saying, well, I'm hurt and I'm in pain and I'm depressed because depression is who I am, or I have anxiety because I'm just an anxious person, or I'm angry because it runs in my family, that's just who I am. That's you identifying with your pain. That's you making labels for yourself that doesn't serve yourself. So we have to really tell ourselves, who do we really want to be, and really make that conscious decision and tell ourselves, this is who I'm going to be. I'm not going to be that anymore. I'm going to be this. And then I'm going to make my mind up. I do this all the time. I do a lot of Ori work. I feed my Ori about once a month. Basically, that means doing spiritual work on my head and my mind so I could see clearly and get clarity on my life and who I am and what's happening around me. And I've realized that we never really reach the ceiling. And a lot of times, sometimes we think we're going to aim for a ceiling, and then when we don't aim and we don't get that ceiling, then we give ourselves a hard time. There is no ceiling to enlightenment. There is no ceiling to the best version of ourselves. It's constant growth and growth and growth and constant realizations, constant aha moments all the time. It just doesn't end unless we decide that we want it to end, you know? So we have to just make the decision to be what it is that we want to be. There's so many times where I've, done all rework on myself and done chanting and done meditation and spoke to, my Orishas and my spirits and stuff like that, and my Eshu and my Papajura or the Netaru or whatever. And they tell me things, and then I make the conscious choice to identify with that. That really helps me. If I say I choose happiness, I'm like, I'm not going to have anything less than that. I won't settle for less than that. If I say this is the powerful being that I'm going to be, and I make that conscious decision, once I wake up and realize things about myself, I always tell myself, I'm not going to go back there. I will not go back there. It does not serve me. Once I wake up, I make that promise to myself. And the reason why I don't go backwards and go back to old habits and stuff like that is, obviously I'm not perfect, and we're not perfect. Sometimes we might kind of slip up a little bit, but something I learned with myself, the reason why I don't go back to being tore up from the floor up like I used to be back in the day when I was in my 20s is because I made the conscious decision that I'm not going to go back there. No matter what happens to me, no matter who I meet, no matter who talks to me, no matter who is on my path, no matter what happens, I will not be pushed to go back there. Once I learn better and once I have a conscious decision, I'm going to be this person, I make that promise to myself and I say, I'm going to be this person. And no matter what, no one is going to stop me. And I tell myself, I will be unstoppable. Nobody will stop me. And it works. And sometimes we just have to do that. Sometimes we just have to talk to ourselves in our head and say, I choose this. I choose to be this. And I know this serves me. And I know what I did then before did not serve me. And I know that I know now better to be this. And I know now to act like this instead. And I know what the mistakes I made and I've made, and I choose to not be that, and I choose to be this. We need to make that conscious decision, and we need to learn to keep promises to ourselves. I mentioned this in the last video on self-nourishment, of learning to really make and keep promises to ourselves. Because if we don't, we can't expect anybody to make and keep promises with us. And we can't expect ourselves to make it and keep promises with other people if we aren't doing it with ourselves. Who are we to say, oh, you have to keep promises with me, but I'm not going to keep promises to myself? That doesn't make sense, If we want a really good life and good relationships and good and a healthy lifestyle, we need to learn how to think healthy about ourselves, Always constantly calling ourselves a lost cause is going to make you a lost cause. Always telling yourself that you are rich and prosperous and abundant will make you rich, prosperous, and abundant. Every single time you say, I'm ugly, or I'm fat, or I don't like my hair, meh, then that's what you will be. But you look in the mirror and say, I'm beautiful, and I love my hair, and I love my body, and I love who I am, then that is who you will be every day. You just got to learn how to speak to yourself. How are you talking to yourself? What are the unconscious and conscious decisions that you were making, honestly? A lot of times we're not even conscious that we're doing these things. A lot of times we're not conscious that we're looking in the mirror and hating ourselves. A lot of us aren't even conscious that we're living life and dragging our feet because we feel that we don't deserve anything more. A lot of the time we just ain't paying attention. To be honest, we're just not paying attention. And sometimes the best thing and number one step to self-nourishment is basically paying attention. And this is something that Spirit has been teaching me recently, paying attention. Pay attention to your subconscious thoughts. Pay attention to the messages that the universe is giving you. If you keep hearing the same thing, different people in different places saying the same thing to you over and over and over again, chances are it's something that you really need to receive. It's something that you really need to hear and you need to accept. And when we don't accept it, problems happen, issues happen, all kinds of crap happens. And we need to basically pay attention. This is what I've been learning. So basically, that's all I have for you today. Those are all the steps I could think of when it comes to, getting our passion back. Just don't give yourself a hard. I've been there. I really feel like I really hit a really dark place. My last person I was with really abused me, so, and I've been there. I've been in really dark places, and we beat ourselves up, and we get into the woe is me, and I'm the victim, which we can be victim, but when we stay there, then we stay there, if you know what I'm saying. And we need to take the accountability and the ownership of getting out of it. So there's always light at the end of the tunnel. I don't care how hard your life has been. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. I've been through so much, and I've been through so much trauma in my life. I was abused growing up, and I used to always think I'm always going to be like this. I'm always going to be messed up in the head. I'm always going to be this screwed up person because I'm living life through my pain. I'm just trying to survive and stuff like that. And I know how it feels to be there. I've been there a lot, but I want you to know I don't care what happens to you in your life and how hard you think you've had to take the beating of life. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. There's always something there for you. We just have to be willing to grab it. We have to be willing to see it, and we have to be willing to want it, and we have to be willing to fight for it, because no one's going to fight for it but us. We can't keep expecting everybody else to do it for us. Everybody else isn't going to do it for you. I mean, maybe deities will help do things for you, but people won't. They just won't, You got to do it for yourself. We got to take ownership. And a lot of times we don't do things because we're like, well, I'll do this when this person does this, or I'll do this when this happens in the world. You're going to be miserable if that's how you think, because things ain't going to change. The world, there's nobody that's going to come save you. And a lot of times we don't get out of this mode because we keep thinking like we're going to have somebody's going to come save me or something, And then we find out it's not true. The only one that's going to save you is you. The only one that's going to save you is your own spirit. It's your own Ori. It's our own soul. It's our own guides that we need to go to and ask for guidance, and we need to be able to take that guidance. We honestly do. I've learned a lot how I work with the Orishas. You know how many times I ignore my Orishas and Netaru because I'm stubborn and bratty? You know how many times that served me? Never served me ever. So I've learned to just pay attention, to listen. So for those of you out there who are getting your passion back, my next video is going to be on an Oshun guided meditation. Oshun is the Orisha of love and passion. I love her. I have Oshun at my feet. So if you would like to watch that video, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Mind of Ro. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I have more passion and love to share with you. So please look out for my Oshun video next week, which will help you get your passion back. So if you want your Oshun passion back, then look out for that video. I hope all of you are having a passionate day or night, whatever time it is over there. Ankh Uchaseneb, Namaste, Odabo, peace.